Okay, as accountants, we know that we have a duty to act in the public interest. So we have responsibilities that go further than just to your client or to the shareholders or to the directors. Our responsibilities are to act in the public interest. But what do I do if I am employed by an entity and I find that there is a problem, certain non-compliance with laws and laws and regulations? As an accountant, I also have a responsibility of keeping my client matters confidential. So what do? Do I go and tell someone that laws and regulations were not complied with and that way breach my confidentiality requirements, or do I just keep quiet? So this code for the first time gives guidance to accountants as to what do you do when you become aware of non-compliance with laws and regulations, but you are also in a situation of confidentiality or an employment position or a client-auditor relationship or something like that. What do you do then? This code now provides guidelines and steps and a thought process of what to consider when you become aware of non-compliance with laws and regulations. It doesn't apply to only auditors. And this is where the confusion comes in. People think that the code applies only to auditors, but the code applies to all professional accountants. A professional accountant is somebody who is a member of a body who is a member of IFAC. For example, the Institute of Chartered Accountants in South Africa is a member of IFAC. So if I'm a CA in South Africa, I have to comply with the code. So is SAIPA, Institute of Professional Accountants, member body of IFAC. So if I'm a SAIPA member, also have to comply. ACCAs have to comply. Auditors have to comply. So all accountants have to comply with this act. So that means that it now includes accountants that are employed in business, not only people in practice. If I'm employed by a business, I have to comply. So the code distinguishes between the duties of professional accountants in senior position and other professional accountants. The auditor has not become a bloodhound, or the accountant is still a watchdog. So that means that if we become aware of instances of non-compliance with laws and regulations, then you have to act according to what the code specifies. But you don't have to go and look for it. Obviously, there are engagements where you are engaged to look for it. So for example, if you're employed as a forensic auditor, then they sometimes ask you to go and look for instances of non-compliance. And in those cases, the duties are clearly stipulated in the terms of engagement letter. But otherwise, no, you're not expected to go and look for it. It is still management's responsibility to ensure compliance with all relevant laws and regulations.
In terms of our professional rules, it's important that we maintain client confidentiality. However, in the case of NOCLAR, if we become aware of a matter which may need to be reported, our duties would be to first make sure that we understand the issue. Secondly, once we've understood fully what the matter is, then to consult with management and those responsible for governance. And providing we've gone through all of those inquiries, if we still believe that it's in the public interest, we have an obligation to report under NOCLAR. Our obligation to report under NOCLAR then would mean that we go to the relevant authority, make the necessary reporting, and under those circumstances, there would be no breach of our professional duties. It would be up to us to make sure that we have done what is necessary in terms of making those inquiries and even considering whether we report this to management or those charged with governance before we report it to the authorities.